Oh, are we on the air?
If you have not watched the video on the basics of English, or if you don't already possess an understanding of what happens to the cue ball as far as deflection goes, what happens with the cue ball as far as curve goes, and what happens to the object ball as far as throw goes, then you should not be watching this video yet. Make sure you watch the video on the basics of cue ball spin and then come back to this video. But today I'm going to be showing you a couple different shots with inside, outside, running, reverse, a lot of different types of English. And if you don't have those other things under your belt, it's going to be difficult for you because you're just simply going to be missing object balls left and right if you don't understand what happens to the cue ball and the object ball as you shoot these shots. So I'm going to try to shoot as many of these with different types of English and a lack of English so you can see what happens in three different situations. First off, when we talk about inside English, which is a term that you'll hear me using a lot, it means that I'm hitting the cue ball in this scenario on my right-hand side. So the way to tell inside and outside English from each other is the cue ball, if I'm hitting it with right-hand English, that means I'm hitting it on this side of the cue ball, making it spin counterclockwise. I am closest to the 6 ball here. If I was shooting with outside English, I'm further away. So the side that's closest to the object ball is going to be your inside English. The side that's the furthest away is going to be outside English. So if I'm shooting the 8 ball in this situation, this side, the left side, becomes inside English and the right side becomes outside English. So if you hear those terms, you know what it means. So I'm going to shoot a few shots for you different ways and you can see when you would use which type of English. In this first scenario, we are going to use inside English. This is the toughest type of English because it holds against everything the balls want to do naturally. If I shoot this ball and make contact with it there, which is going to send it to the corner pocket, it is naturally going to deflect in this opposite direction. That is not what I want it to do. I need to come behind this 8 ball so I have a shot on the 8. So that's where reverse English comes in, and in this case, inside English. The shot looks like this. High, a good follow through, guys. And you can see the cue ball came off of here and went backwards, putting us on the 8. Now let's look at the same shot with no English at all and see what the cue ball does. Watch out for that side pocket. You see what I'm talking about? Moved my Q-tip not even a quarter of an inch, and it makes that much difference. So now we see what the shot looks like with reverse English. We see what the shot looks like with no English. If we put left hand English on this, which will be outside English, the cue ball is going to take an even greater angle. As you saw, it came down towards this side pocket. If we put left-hand English on it, the cue ball does this and cuts off that angle a lot more. Rather than coming down here, it goes there. So when would we take the same shot and put outside English on it? Now, if our 8 ball is there, we don't need the outside English. But let's say our 8 ball is on this side of the table. If we put inside English on it, right-hand English, we come over here. We already know that. If we put no English on it, we come all the way down here. But if we put our left hand English on it, outside English here, we pull up right behind the 8-ball and we're out. So those are 3 situations there. Same shot, left hand, no English, right hand, cue ball and the object ball in the same spot. Now you understand where you're going to end up. Let's look at a couple other situations. So gang, let's look at shots where we're going to be putting English on the cue ball, but instead of hitting the object ball first, we're going to be hitting a rail first. Now I talked to you about running English. So if we want our cue ball to come around the table this way, like we do in our 2-rail kick shots that I taught you guys in a previous video, then we're going to put running English. Pop quiz. Is that left hand or right hand English? If you are going around the table and you want the cue ball to go in the direction it naturally wants to go, you're going to put running English, in this case, right hand English, to make it go around the table to reach this 8-ball. So the shot looks like this. Now, if we were taking the same shot and we were going to do it off of 3 rails, and our cue ball was over here, our running English would again be right hand English, and we would come off of 3 rails to make the shot. So remember, running English is the direction that the ball wants to travel, and reverse English is against nature. Reverse against nature. Okay, so we're going to look at situations where we are shooting shots and we want to change things up. Now you saw the 3-rail kick shot and the 2-rail kick shot and the 4-rail kick shot, all involving running English. Sometimes we have to put reverse English on these shots. And here we're going to play a situation where we're going to use reverse English to get this 8-ball in the side pocket, because it only goes from this direction. And we're up against the rail. A nice little kick like this is going to be difficult, but more makeable. But we have a situation where now we are behind this ball. So we're going to go up the table, use reverse English. In this case, my left-hand side English is going to spin the cue ball clockwise to come backwards to get to the 8-ball here. You may have seen this in more of my videos because it comes up a lot. So the shot looks like this. We make the 8 on the side, we win the game. Now, that shot involves left-hand English. I didn't put any low or high on the shot, depending on the situation and how far I need to go. I may use a bit of low to get a sharper angle, but it is going to change from table to table, player to player, shot to shot. You are not going to find that to be a high percentage shot necessarily. I've shot thousands of them. I've been shooting that as a trick shot since I was a kid. But if you're new to it, understand, it might be a 5-to-1 shot for you. It might be a 10-to-1 shot for you. But practice it so that you know what the shot is like. And when you have an opportunity to show off with it, you'll be able to make it. Okay, gang, here we have a situation where 8-ball's in the pocket, but we're in the middle of all this traffic here. 3 rails doesn't work, 2 rails don't work. There is a 2-rail shot here, kind of looks like this. All right, that's a tough shot. I don't expect you guys to play that shot as often as you might play the one that I'm going to show you. But what we can do, because we don't have the angle that we want, this is a perfect spot for us. If we could shoot from here and just go down and hit that spot, we would be fine. But here we're going to have a situation similar to our side pocket shot. This is actually an easier shot. We're going to come down with right hand English. Our cue ball is going to make a hard right turn, come down and play the 8 for us. So the shot looks like this. And we're out, we win the game. Keep in mind, if we want to make a right turn, we're going to hit the cue ball on the right. If we want to make a left turn, we're going to hit the cue ball on the left. So keep those things in mind, and you can make shots like that all day. But you're going to have to practice them. The speed of the table, the amount spin that your cue allows, a lot of different things are going to determine your speed, your strength, your amount of follow through, all the things that are going to cause you to make that shot on a consistent basis. So practice those coming off the rail with spin. Let's look at another situation. This one's going to be fun. Transferring of English blows some minds from time to time. I actually had a guy I was coaching say, you can't transfer English. Well, players do it all the time. Advanced players probably do it once or twice a game, where you're transferring English to a cue ball, from the cue ball to an object ball, usually in order to make the object ball do something as it comes off of a rail. So when the rail is struck, it's not the cue ball that has to spin on it, but the object ball. And this is what makes it complicated. If I put left-hand English on the cue ball, it applies right-hand English to the object ball. So think of it like gears. So this gear is spinning towards the counterclockwise direction, and as it touches the other gear is spinning in the counterclockwise position. Now what that does is it gives you opportunities to make shots that might seem impossible. If I want to bank that 8-ball back here because I can't make it in that pocket, if I can transfer the English and spin it back towards this pocket, it is makeable here. If you guys saw my, I think it was my second instinctive banking video, you saw me make this on a gold crown. It's a relatively well-known shot, especially to one-pocket players. So it's not something I invented, but it is a very interesting shot because it allows you to make a shot that, like I said, appears to be impossible to beginner players. Now, if I want the 8-ball to spin clockwise and come backwards towards this pocket, that means that I want the object ball hit from the cue ball that is spinning counterclockwise. So I'm going to put right-hand English on this so that I put left-hand English on the 8-ball and bring the 8-ball to this pocket. The shot looks like this. That's a fun shot. The thing that separates most decent bankers from world-class bankers is the use of English. The use of English sometimes to get position. If the 11 ball was there and the 8 ball was there and I wanted to get on that 11 ball, I might use English on the shot. Most beginner players or lower level players are going to look at a bank shot of the 8 ball here like this. Okay, if I hit it there, it's going to come over here to this side. Advanced players look at it this way. I'm going to hit it full, and I'm going to put left-hand English on it. My cue ball is going to get out of the way because of the angle, not because of the English. My cue ball is going to get out of the way, and I am going to transfer clockwise, counterclockwise English on that 8 ball, which is going to send it backwards to this pocket here. So instead of trying to hit it here, what we're going to do is going to hit it almost full with, again, left-hand English, transferring right-hand English to a ball that we hit in that direction, which will be sending it back in this direction. Shot looks like this. That's how advanced players make those bank shots. The other problem that occurs, and the reason the transfer of English is so important in these shots, is because if you don't transfer English to make this shot and you try to get an angle on it, what'll happen is you'll get a double kiss. As the cue ball comes in here, it's still in the way when your object ball tries to come backwards. So that's why you need to use the transfer of English. Your cue ball is out of the way, your object ball is going straight towards the rail, and then makes its hard turn to come back to the pocket after the cue ball has gotten out of the way, because a double kiss doesn't do you any good, and that's basically what happens if you shoot the shot without English. Okay gang, remember this shot where we come off of 3 rails and we come down here to play a ball in this pocket? What do we do if we need to play our object ball in that pocket. Let's pretend for a second this pocket's blocked, that pocket's blocked. This ball's in the way of a bank shot there. We need to come into this pocket. How do we pull it off? We want the cue ball to have running English when it goes around the table. We want the same thing to happen to an object ball. Now, we can't just hit the object ball on the right-hand side and send it around the table. So we want to transfer English to this 8 ball from the cue ball. If we want to have right-hand English on the ball we strike, which side do we hit? Our cue ball. Correct. We hit our cue ball on the left-hand side. Remember the gears going together. And if we put left-hand English on our cue ball, it transfers right-hand English on our 8 ball. We come around the table with running English. We go right in the corner pocket. So a couple things that you need to be conscious of when you're shooting this shot. One, don't forget to put the English on there, or you're going to have to hit it in a totally different direction, and it's not going to want to go around the table in the correct angle if it doesn't have the running English on it. So keep that in mind. You've got to put running English on it, or you're not going to have the proper angles to make the shot. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is get your cue ball out of the way. Some of you guys already know these concepts, the transfer of English and things like that. Some of you knew them and haven't been putting them into practice, but make sure you know what they are, practice them, and if you can't practice them because you're not up to that skill level yet, keep them in your memory bank. Review the video later on, 6 months from now. The concept is not going to change. This game does not change very much from decade to decade, okay? So practice the shots. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little bell. Tell your friends about the channel, and thanks for watching.